I'll be remembered, but will you? Bill McDonald's the baddest I would turn to. CEO with the shit that's a dope motherfucker. He'll always win, there's no going under. At the top of the crown, resting on his head. The beast is alive, he'll never be dead. If he drank before, bring it back to life. Push harder for it, let us survive. Show courage and strength, it's okay to be scared, but don't let it stop you, always stay prepared. Bill Showman School, they're just not beginning. Winners fucking win, losers talk about winning.
Welcome to the Bearded Beast Show. My name is Bill, I am the Bearded Beast. Special Friday episode with my friends Ty, Tyler, Andy, and Greg. Say hello, everybody.
What's up, guys?
All right. What's going on with these balloons or whatever's in the sky, guys? Tell me.
Here we go. Alien.
Biden says he doesn't know what they are, so what's going on?
It was my bad. I was flying a kite.
It was a kite you were flying?
Yeah, it was actually me.
Actually, all right, so Biden says he doesn't know what they are, but this is the same guy that said this thing. Take a listen to this.
1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store and in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. What happens?
What happened?
Goddamn, that's my president right there.
He said spaghetti sauce, stacking it, 1.2 billion. What happened? What happened with these? What's going on? What are we shooting down? Do we know?
Spaghetti sauce. I heard that when they shot down one of them, it interfered with the plane that they were flying.
Like
the fighter jet, it got interfered with before they shot it down.
That's weird.
So I don't know. Maybe it is really like another life force coming to say hi.
We're just shooting them down.
Yeah, I know. And now we're just shooting them down. This is going to be like Independence Day.
Donald Trump said somebody's responsible for this. Do you have any guesses?
China?
The balloon was China. The other things, I don't know if they was with China.
Here's what Trump said.
China.
He says China.
I mean, how can you disagree with that?
Do we think they're like spy balloons? What are they doing?
Well, they said that they were weather balloons.
Well, they did say that they believe they shot down a hobby club's balloon.
A hobby club's balloon?
Northern Illinois bottle cap. It's called the Northern Illinois Bottle Cap Balloon Brigade.
Oh my god, dude!
Wait, they got balloon clubs?
They have weather balloon clubs. They fly these balloons up in the air, and it was about the same altitude as where this balloon was that the military shot down, and this bottle club brigade or whatever saying their balloon's missing.
That's being at that event.
That was a $400,000 rocket.
Yeah, look at that. There goes some of my money. I pay.
About an $18 weather balloon, they said.
Yeah, shooting down a goddamn balloon. $400,000 miss.
And if you think they'd come up with more clever ways to spy on us if that's the case than putting a fucking balloon in the sky?
So the other, I guess they shot down 4 in total. The other 3 were more circular-shaped metal objects, but they're not exactly sure what they are.
Yeah, and they're saying that they might be aliens.
But I mean, how many days
Flying
did we let them fly over before we did anything? Like that one, we watched it for 3 or 4 days, and then
that was the balloon. I think the other ones went undetected for a little while on our radars.
Undetected. That's not good on our radar, is it?
No, I also saw a thing that if you can actually track fleets like ships and stuff, and China is currently positioning some boats down near Antarctica, and they're saying they're going to try and take out our satellites. If you look up on a live tracking of fleets that are going across the ocean, and you filter Russia and China, they're all down near Antarctica.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
It is strange, actually.
You want to know what Biden said? He said he wants to be clear that there's no evidence there's a sudden increase in objects in the sky. It's just now they're seeing more of them because they've taken more steps to increase the radar.
Oh, that's true.
So he's saying that all this has been going on the whole time. They're just now seeing more of it because they've increased the radar.
See, I read a thing about like that too with train derailments today. There's 17 train derailments every year, 1,700 of them, which is about like 3.5 a day. So I don't think this many is uncommon, but I think it's the materials they were all holding, which is interesting.
Well, weren't they
Also,
all
when
like
they
carrying
say
this? Go ahead, Tyler.
They were all carrying chemicals.
Also, when they say train derailments, I don't think they're referring to the like derailments that we're seeing now, where they're going off the tracks and like flipping around and stuff like that. They're probably just going off the tracks a little bit.
Yeah, I was reading a thing, and a train like engineer that works on trains says most of it happens like at the like the train hub where they all are stationed, and they'll just like bump into each other and they count that as a train derailment.
All right, but I guess these recent ones they're saying has something to do with some sort of sensors or brake operation or something that Donald Trump changed the policies on back in 2017 to defund this part of the train operation to save money or something for the country.
Yeah, it does seem that way because I saw a video of train tracks in America, and the train is barely staying on the tracks. The layoffs of employees for trains, like train workers that work on the railroad tracks, has been like, I guess, massive. And now our railroad tracks are kind of just like, they're getting like worse and worse. It's like if you didn't keep paving over a road every like 20 years or however long they wait.
All right, but do we believe the balloons and whatever these objects are in the sky and the train derailments all have something to do with each other? Is it a distraction by the government to cover up something else?
No, I don't think they're connected. I think it's just all happening at once.
A lot of stuff happening at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big coincidence.
I mean, if they can get us to believe somehow we're being attacked by aliens, then, I mean, they could cover up a lot of shit if we're focused on now we're being invaded, right?
I don't think that if aliens were here to invade us, they would have done it already. And it's highly unlikely that aliens have a higher and stronger, like, weapons and stuff. Like, you're not going to see them shooting laser beams and none of that, I don't think. Like, I think if there is an alien life force, it's not as complicated as us.
So you don't think Independence Day would be like a reality?
No, I really don't.
Does anybody think they're ours? So like what Bill said, I mean, is it us doing it?
I don't think the UFOs are. The train derailment, maybe. Train derailments are a little odd.
But why would we be doing it?
Look at Chernobyl.
Did we not?
That kind of makes sense if they're trying to distract us from something, because I mean they've done worse shit, right?
Well, we just.
Yeah, if anything.
Go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna say, if anything, it's a magic trick. It's like all your attention is here because they don't want you to look over here. It's what are we not seeing, or I guess what's going on that we don't know about, I guess.
But this all seems to be coming off like the past. I mean, we've had 2.5 years of this, right, with COVID?
Yeah, but COVID's over. COVID's been over for a while now.
It's still there, and it's still a worry on people's minds, right, because they still talk about it. But it's not, and I'm not saying COVID wasn't real because I had it, and I'm sure, somebody else here. I know Andy had it. Greg, did you have it?
Yep, I had it.
I know Ty did. I think Tyler's the exception to the group here. I don't think he's
had
it.
Smoke with me, boy.
They don't want no smoke with same strain.
They don't want smoke with same strain.
But what I'm starting to think is that the dangers of it. Not, and I know many people died, and I'm sorry for that. But did they have us living in a whole bunch of fear for an awful long time, and now people are starting to wake up a little bit with that? So now it's on to now we could possibly be invaded by aliens, to train derailments with majorly hazardous chemicals. That train derailment in Ohio that has leaked, that those chemicals leaked into the Ohio River. So that has to be, causing some major issues for that. The people there can't drink the water, right? And we talked about it, that Ohio River flows to the Mississippi all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. So how much of that waterway has been infected?
Well, have you guys been on TikTok? Have you seen any TikTok videos like the dead like the dead fish and the frogs and all that?
Yeah, we saw that. So how can they be telling people go ahead and drink it?
I don't know why they're saying that, because that's definitely just not the case.
Yeah, I've seen that video of the guys like scraping the bottom of the creek with like a stick and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. It looks like oil, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then there was one where it was like white circles.
I saw one where this lady threw a rock into it and it started sizzling like it was like soda.
Yeah, I seen that one today.
Jesus.
It's not drinking water at all.
So why are they
It's
telling people it's
carbonated
safe
now.
to drink? It's carbonated.
All the train derailments, were they all like chemicals as far as what got spilled?
Ohio was, Detroit was. I don't know about South Carolina.
See, I think I read the one in Detroit was carrying the same exact chemical as the one in Ohio.
Which is
But
very
I guess the train company labeled the train as non-hazardous materials to save money.
But that train
That's
also
what I read
broke
at
down
least.
2 days before that. And they were telling
Yeah, but
the train operators were saying that it was too heavy. It shouldn't be operating.
the chemicals didn't spill when it crashed. That's the thing. We blew them up for some reason. I still haven't understand why we did that. We did a quote unquote controlled detonation of those chemicals.
Right. They said
We
that
did
was
that.
the
Like, they
safest
literally-
way to handle the derailment, and what was spilling though was to burn it.
Yeah, nah.
Greg, did you ask
Because
what the chemical was?
what's that?
I thought I heard you ask what the chemical was. Is that what you were asking?
No, I was saying, was it chemicals on all the derailments? Like, was each train carrying like the same thing?
I believe so, yes. It was vinyl chloride.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I saw a video today of this guy that lived in Pennsylvania. He said it smelled like chlorine outside, like around the surrounding area. So it's definitely going to affect other states.
So it says vinyl chloride will send hydrogen, chloride, and phosphogen, a toxic gas, into the air.
Yeah, and
That's right.
vinyl chloride is attracted to water. Like it attracts with it.
Okay, so if we don't possibly know what's going on here, what about the Netflix movie that was released last year called White Noise? It was identical.
I think that's just a coincidence.
But it's identical to what happened in Ohio, even the same town.
I just think that's a coincidence because White Noise, that movie, is based off of a 1984 book. It's an adaptation of a part of a book, at least.
Okay, so could
I
they
think
be?
it's just
Could they have been warning us of this stuff all the way back then?
no. No.
Andy, what do you think?
It was a
I don't know. I don't know if they would have warned us like that. They might have just let it happen, you know?
Tyler,
What was the question?
do you think that, some of this stuff that's been written, and, we've talked about it in the past, and some of the movies they produce, are they actually a warning of giving us a hint of what's to come?
Yeah, they could be, right? Because there's a lot of, I think, too many coincidences in certain movies, right? Like what was the movie you talked about? White Noise.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean the same exact town, same exact chemical, same exact way of the derailment.
Yeah, and for coronavirus, they made an exact, almost exact copy of that into a movie. I can't remember what it's called. Andy remembered it the other day, but
Contagion.
Yeah, it's Contagion. Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy.
Greg, what do you think?
Man, I think if you look at it like in relation to COVID, so if it's say it's an inside thing and the government is doing it, what do they have to gain from these derailments, or what would these derailments cause if it's more than, I guess, just a distraction from something else? Because if you look at COVID, so my opinion, COVID it gave the government the ability to put everybody under martial law without calling it that. Remember, because they shut the country down for like 3 months.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just another way to population control.
What about this theory, Greg? What if now they figured out, okay, most people they're over this COVID, right? They're not going to listen to them anymore about the masks and vaccines, and most people are like, no, not going to do that anymore. But now they figure out a way that they can poison the water system. It's affecting the animal population. So what if they figure out a way to, damage the waterways, hurt the animal population so you can't drink water, or you couldn't even hunt your own food?
So you're dependent on what they would provide you then.
Right.
Right back to square one.
I mean, is that a possibility, or is it too far-fetched, you think?
I could see it.
I think we have to see more.
Yeah.
If it starts happening in other places, we start seeing derailments, all the time, every week.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's unexplainable.
And I think Andy said it, talking about population control, that was really COVID. So, who did COVID attack? The elderly, people with weakened immune systems, people that, were already sick or you had underlying health issues. So did we eliminate, especially like elderly, do we eliminate people that, Social Security? There's a lot of things that would come into effect there.
Right, because
Definitely.
once you reach a certain age, the government looks at you as like you're a burden to them, right? You're a draw on the system.
Right. You're not going to work every day, so you're not giving output, like putting forward any kind of production.
Right. All right, so COVID, we agree, was sort of a way for them to get into our mind, right, and figure out if they can control us or not. How many of us can they control? What percentage of the population will listen to us and wear a mask, take a vaccine? So they figured that out. They figured what, the majority of people that affected. We're on to them now, right? Starting to be exposed. A lot of these people are starting to be exposed for the lies and all this bullshit they told us. So maybe that's a way. Maybe they're trying to cover up and move away from that and come up with these balloons and UFOs and train derailments and chemicals and affecting the water. Maybe it's just a distraction because somebody's going to want to take these people down for the lies and everything that they told us, right? You needed to get this vaccine to prevent from getting sick. The CDC comes out recently and says that the masks did nothing. So we're starting to understand that over the past 2.5 years, we've been lied to, right? Is that kind of like crimes against humanity?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
They closed our schools, affected our children. They shut down businesses. How many people lost their job? How many people lost their business they had it could have been a family business in the family for 20, 30 years.
Yeah, how many small businesses went under?
Some people still don't have, their livelihood back.
Right. And that's kind of what bothers me with all the money that we send to Ukraine, like the $200 billion. Why didn't we use that to maybe give back to some of these people who lost their job or lost their business? What about the kids, all the time they lost in school. These, they took the children backwards. They lost a lot of education.
Hell yeah, I'm a lot dumber than I was.
So I don't know.
think that's
Maybe it's just
completely unrelated.
what's that, Tyler?
I said I think that's probably completely unrelated.
I agree with you.
Talking about me?
So maybe it's just a cover up because these people are starting to get exposed now, right? Like the high execs from Twitter when Elon Musk took it over. We're starting to expose a lot of the things that Twitter was doing, and we're starting to understand that we were lied to over the past 2.5 years.
Elon Musk is a goat.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk one of our controversial subjects I know is going to be Damar Hamlin.
Oh, I'm going to kill myself. Yep, here it is. Yep, here we go.
All right, we all saw the Super Bowl photos, right?
Yeah.
So Damar Hamlin near his left ear has like a P tattoo, similar to like the Pittsburgh Pirate logo.
Yeah, it's that logo. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. In the photos from the Super Bowl, that's P's not there.
Yeah, it's definitely not there.
So where did it go?
Yeah, no, it definitely is there. Well, it definitely is.
So it's in the video, but it's not in the pictures.
I think someone either photoshopped that picture or it's just a bad picture. Because if you look where it's supposed to be, it almost looks like a bad Photoshop, which is interesting. Like someone just copy and pasted part of his other skin and put it over it.
So you think somebody photoshopped the picture? That is
think
the
it's
real
either
Damar
Photoshop-
Hamlin.
Yeah, it is. If you look closely at the picture, his skin tone looks a little off between his. Just like you can just, I don't know, I can tell because I took Photoshop class, so it's kind of easy for me to see that it's Photoshopped or at least a low res photo. But a lot of people think he's like a clone now.
All right, Greg,
So
you were at this game, Greg.
Yeah, I was there. So, and they weren't telling anybody anything. They didn't tell us the game was canceled. They didn't tell us anything about why he was on the ground. Social media is the only way everybody there knew what was going on, and talking to people that were watching TV. Like I was talking to Bill, I was talking to another friend of mine, Joe. Nobody knew anything. We just seen a player go down, and you're like, okay, whatever, knocked him out. And then, the ambulance rolls out, he's still down. Then we find out he's not breathing. So there was a lot of, God, and I just now thought about it, but did you guys see, somebody had it posted on TikTok, and I don't remember from the game. I've got a couple pictures I'd have to look at. The ambulance that picked him up, wasn't even lettered like a hospital ambulance. Did any of you guys notice that?
Yeah, I heard about that, but I also heard that's actually how every ambulance is labeled because it's a truck before it's an ambulance. But if you look under the VIN number, it comes up as a truck, I'm pretty sure.
So, they take him out, and this is probably an hour and a half go by. Of course, everybody's still sitting there. They don't know if they're going to play the game or not. Taylor, the coaches meet in the middle of the field. Well, at that time, you got two groups of players on each side of the field. They start warming up. So, you're thinking at that point the game's going to go. Well, then the coaches come back to the sideline. Players go to the locker room. They still haven't said what's going to happen on the game. But then, I don't know, we went to the pro shop, and the only thing they put on the big screen was a temporary delay. They never said, over the intercom, what happened to Hamlin, what was going on with him, the game being canceled, we're going to play, nothing. We left, and it still said temporary. But, everybody knew what was going on, talking to people on their phone. So then, you come to find out the NFL said that they were never told, hey, you guys got 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to go. But, man, I've seen the guys form, groups and start warming up. So the players were definitely told, hey, we're going to play.
Well,
now, whether or not
Aikman and Buck were doing that game, right?
Yeah, Aikman was doing it. Aikman, from what I was told, Aikman said on the air, okay, they've told him 5 or 10 minutes and we're going to play.
Yeah, I heard that. That's what they said. So, Greg, since you were there, what did the stadium feel like? Did it feel like most of the fans wanted the game to restart? Or do you think that it was just, or do you think that they didn't? Like, was it silent? Was there too much going on? Did you hear a lot of people talking?
Nah, it was pretty silent. Like, it was dead silent. And then, I don't know what happened on the other side. You could see, like, across the field, a couple of fights broke out because security come down and took people out.
Oh, wow.
But that's the first time I've ever seen a fight in Cincinnati. Because, I've been there for Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, the Raiders. I've been to a bunch of games, tailgated before and after. I've never seen a fight. Like, most of the time, the fans are pretty cool both ways.
Wow, it seems like a weird time for a fight to go on, right?
I don't know, but it was dead silent. I think mixed opinions just from everything I heard in the crowd. Some people said they should play. Some people said they shouldn't. I guess that could have gone either way.
What do we think? What do we think? Greg, do you think they should have played?
If he actually died on the field, I don't think you can play that game. I agree. I agree with them walking off. At the same time, though, and me saying that, it's on the team. So that's on Buffalo. So if Buffalo decides to call the game, then it's basically, that should be a forfeit on them.
So Cincinnati should have, you believe Cincinnati should have won at that point?
Yeah, but politically, you couldn't have called that. If Zach Taylor would have said, hey, Buffalo doesn't want to play, they're going to forfeit because their player got hurt, we want to play. Yeah, that would have been career suicide.
Tyler, what do you think? No, I think they can't play that game, right? Even if he didn't die, would like him actually falling like that. Like, it's different when somebody gets injured, like normally in a football game, like when they sprain an ankle or even break a leg, for instance. But when somebody actually falls like that, it's really bad. I don't think you can play that game.
Andy, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you can finish that game just because of how long it was stopped for that. And, the guy, even if he didn't die there, he almost died. He was on the verge of death. I just don't think you can get back on the field and have a clear mind after that,
Ty?
Yeah, you play that game. I think you play that game because they didn't cancel the game when Tua was showing us how he could count on his fingers. They continued that game after 10 minutes.
He wasn't dead.
That's fair.
Yeah, but he was just counting on his fingers 1, 2, 3.
It was he had severe head trauma.
Yeah, I think that's just as bad of an injury almost. I know it's cardiac arrest towards the concussion, but it's the same situation. He was out for a while, and then he was seizing. I think it looked like he was.
Yeah,
at least. So, and they resumed that game as soon as they got him off the field.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't go to the locker room. There wasn't a break. They basically got Tua off the field and played the game.
The only reason why they didn't play the rest of that game is after people found out he was receiving CPR on the field. I think that's why.
All right, so in today's world and technology, everybody's got a phone, social media. It took the NFL a while to call that game. Do you believe they were waiting to really see what the public perception would be? If people were outraged that they would think about playing it, or if people were outraged that they didn't continue playing it? Do you think they wanted to wait and make a decision based on what they were hearing maybe on social media?
No, I don't think that's what they were doing. I think they were waiting to see how bad it was, his injury, what was going on with him.
But why not just call it, right? Why not, like Greg was there, why not tell the fans, listen, we're not going to be able to play this game tonight. We're going to either have to reschedule it or not play it at all.
Well, nobody originally knew what was going on with him. They just knew he went down and he was receiving CPR.
Well, I mean,
the NFL had to know that, like, he supposedly died, right? If that's what actually happened, because it happened right then.
yeah, I mean,
Well, no, they didn't tell anybody in the stadium like anything. Like say everybody, there was nothing on the screens, nothing over the intercom, other than there's a temporary delay. They didn't tell anybody what was going on. Everybody knew social media and their phones. That's how everybody knew what was happening. But man, I don't know, man. I agree with Bill, because how many times everybody said it. The NFL is, and they're in a production business. It's entertainment. I think they were, just kind of weighing the crowd to see what the thought was about playing it or not, because it's money to them.
right. And unfortunately, money is what runs the world, right?
Right.
Yeah, but they never replayed that game.
No, you knew that night when Buffalo left to go home, they weren't playing it. Because that's what a lot of people were saying. Oh, well, they're going to play the game tomorrow. And then they announced later that Buffalo went home. And that was it. You knew it was never going to happen. Because we had Pro Bowl that following weekend. And then, then you had playoffs. There was no time to play that game.
Do you think they should have canceled the Pro Bowl and rescheduled that game? Well, they couldn't. That's Pro Bowl is right before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Pro Bowls, yeah.
All right, so back to
screwed over us, Tyler.
back to something Greg had said earlier about this situation, because he was there, or he saw this on social media. The ambulance had no writing on it whatsoever, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like marked like a hospital ambulance, numbers and a hospital logo, nothing like that.
So do we believe that's just an ambulance that the stadium has then?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't think they would use like a Cincinnati General Hospital ambulance. I think they probably have because that's taking resources away from a hospital.
But so they have their own trained paramedics then?
Yeah, for sure they do.
You don't think they hire like an ambulance, a local ambulance?
No. They got full-time personnel, probably. Medical personnel. I mean, both teams do.
Well, yeah, but the medical personnel is not going to drive an ambulance, right?
Yeah, they would. Those are trained paramedics, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. The guy driving it, they zoomed in on him. I don't even think the guy driving the truck was wearing a uniform. If I remember right, he wasn't. He wasn't like medical staff, I don't believe.
So we're questioning what has happened with Damar Hamlin since, right?
Yeah.
Why? All right, he was at the Super Bowl, the biggest game of the year. Why couldn't we get an interview with him? Why couldn't we just get a 30-second interview with him to see how he was doing?
Yeah.
I mean, has anybody seen an interview with Damar Hamlin since?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, with Michael Strahan.
Okay.
Yeah, and I saw he posted a message on his Instagram.
All right, so Tyler, you mentioned the interview with Michael Strahan. Did you watch it?
I saw clips from it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
All right, I want you guys to listen to this. It's about 50 seconds. I want you to listen to this clip and listen very clearly to the question that Strahan asked Damar, okay?
After Hamlin was discharged from the ICU, the question on so many minds, what caused his heart to stop beating?
You're 24, peak physical condition, can run circles around me right now. How did doctors describe what happened to you?
That's something I want to stay away from.
I know from my experience at the NFL, they do more tests than anything. And in
That's
the course
crazy.
of you having your physical, did anybody ever come back with any
That's okay.
heart issue?
Honestly,
Riveting
I've
entertainment.
always been a
I'm sitting here thinking, what if they're hearing it, but I'm not.
That's what I'm thinking.
Could nobody hear that?
No.
No.
All right. I thought you could hear it because I could hear it. But what Strahan said to him was, what did the doctors tell you happened to you? Do you know what his answer was?
He doesn't know, right?
Right.
That's a question I want to stay away from, he said.
And he hesitates, like he doesn't know what to say when Strahan first asked him, because you could see it in his face, like he didn't expect the question.
No, I
and
think
he gets hit with
he was like afraid to answer it.
right. He's like, So, all right. So I'll give you guys my take on that, and you guys can tell me what you think. So going back to saying that the NFL is in their entertainment business. So you have two scenarios for this Damar Hamlin outtake. So one scenario is he dies on the field. He doesn't come back. He never walks away from that. He's dead, died on the field during a game. What, as far as the face of the NFL, what does that do to them? What does that do to future games that, this sport had somebody die on the field, killed this, 23, 24-year-old kid. So, the NFL is already under all this discrepancy. So what does that do to them going forward? Versus, Damar Hamlin's all of a sudden he's like a national hero because he survived cardiac arrest. They talk about him like at every game. All these shirts were made. They're hyping him up. He's basically like a celebrity status now. So is it really him?
All right. Well, to answer your first part of the question, I don't know like the future of the NFL, but I can tell you right now that season was over. There was no playoffs. There was no Super Bowl. The season would have come to an end if they announced that Damar Hamlin had passed away. It's over. There's not a following week. There's no way people are going to be okay with turning on the TV in 6 days and watching football. They would have had to cancel the season. And then the NFL's not going to do that. They make too much money.
Right. Because how many viewers did the NFL lose over Colin Kaepernick? And, the whole kneeling for the national anthem. And, I'll give you my opinion straight up on that. I think his career was going nowhere. He was on his way out, and he did something for attention. He come across to me as like, it's all about me kind of guy. But at the same time, you had a ton of people, military veterans, and, just regular Joes that turned it off. I still hear people comment about that they won't watch football because of that, but they won't watch football because people kneel for the anthem. So, the NFL probably couldn't take another hit, something that big. It's too much money involved.
Oh, there's no question. No chance whatsoever. And then how do you come back the following season? I mean, how awkward would that be?
A lot of players wouldn't.
What?
Yeah, because they're already changing they changed the helmet. So you hear them talking about changing the design of the helmet every year, right? Because they're bettering it for concussion safety. And
it seems like it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
See, it's funny you say that, actually, because when I played football, I actually took a massive hit to the head, like a helmet on a helmet, and I hit my head off the back of the field when I landed, and I was dazed for about 2 seconds, and then I got right back up, and I was fine. And I had this $30 helmet that had to have been at least 10 years old.
Yeah, but we've already determined you don't have any brains anyway.
Yeah, but see, like those helmets, it feels like whenever they hit the ground, they got a concussion. I mean, look at Tua. Like I hit the back of my head off the ground after getting hit in the head with no helmet, and I was fine.
Okay, so Ty brings up an interesting point. We've been hearing about concussions. We watched what happened to Tua, right? Was the NFL losing, viewers, and were the ratings going down because people were getting you know how, people get upset when they see people get hurt or it's too violent of a sport. And now, okay, can we make something happen to make a hero out of a nobody? And all of a sudden the sport is like revitalized with like, look what happened to this guy. He was saved and now he's back and he's going to play football again. Could it have been all made up? Did it actually ever really happen?
Yeah, you don't know.
I think that's far-fetched because that would make people, like, it makes me question, like, for that to happen to someone so young, that makes me question, like, the vaccine that the NFL required certain teams to get, right?
So are you saying that what I just said is far-fetched or?
Yeah, it's like, it's hard for me to think that they could have done that as of, like, for him to, like, boost. I guess it did boost ratings, but as far as the longevity of those ratings, it makes me question other things.
Well, I'll tell you what, I haven't looked it up, but I can almost guarantee you that following week Buffalo game probably had like the highest ratings ever. Right? Because everybody wanted to probably see Damar Hamlin or hear about Damar Hamlin calling in to talk to the team or they wanted to see how Buffalo was going to respond to the situation. But I bet that boosted some ratings.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, you probably had people watching that game just because of Damar Hamlin. They might not have even watched football or been a fan, but they heard about this kid that survived and they watched it to see him.
All right, so he comes back to the stadium eventually, right? And we see him up in a booth, and he's ushered from the locker room to the elevator with security. You can't see his face. No interview with him. They say he has to be on oxygen, no oxygen tank, nothing. What's the deal with that?
He's wearing a full ski mask, a parka pulled over his head. Like you can't even see nothing. And he's inside. He's standing in front of the window.
Right.
So, he's inside a suite, but he's completely covered up.
Wouldn't he like have a Buffalo jersey on or his jersey or wanted to say something to the fans? That's how I think it would have went down, but I'm not sure why he was in this booth all wrapped up like an Eskimo. Does anybody have an opinion on that?
You would have think they would have showed a video of him like in the locker room during halftime, like hyping the players up. Like, come on, man, let's go.
Right. But even before the game, when he was in the locker room, then they ushered him out of there where nobody could even see him and just put him in this elevator. Was it the real Damar Hamlin?
Well, I don't know. I will say this, Bill, since we got everybody together, and I told you that this week, I'm gonna take a shot at Lamar Jackson if this is the real Damar Hamlin. So,
oh boy.
Last game of the season, playoffs on the line. Jackson doesn't show up to the Cincy Ravens game. Not there. And he had what, an ACL, MCL, something. He had a knee injury, right?
Right.
And he had been out 5 or 6 weeks. So there's no reason whatsoever this kid couldn't be on the sideline for his team, right?
100%.
So you flip the coin. Damar Hamlin, Cincinnati. This kid dies on the field. Cardiac arrest. He is dead. CPR, taken to the hospital. But 3 weeks later, he's at the Buffalo game. So if it's really him, man, that says a lot.
We got 2 Raven fans here. We got a response to that?
Yeah, well, I guess, does Damar Hamlin have an MVP?
No, I'm not talking about his playing ability. I'm just saying that's really look at the compassion, look at the camaraderie. Man, he wanted to be there for his team. And this kid's I'll give it to you. This kid's a nobody compared to Lamar Jackson, but he was at the game.
I think the only reason why Lamar might not have been there is because he was in PT. Yeah, that would be the only reason he wouldn't be there, which that's a valid reason. I think that's a valid reason to not be there.
He was where?
Physical therapy?
He was at physical therapy.
Yeah,
so he couldn't attend the football game?
No, I think maybe he was probably trying to get ready if they won that game, which they should have. But
how about let's just call it what it is? He's moved on
end
from the
that
team. They've moved on from him. They don't want each other. And I
that's
don't
definitely not true.
I don't blame Baltimore one bit. This guy always has some sort of injury the last 6 games of the season. He doesn't play for his team. He didn't the year before. He didn't play the last game of the season where they could have went to the playoffs. He doesn't show up to the last game of the year to support his team. Why not move on from a guy like that? We said it in the last podcast. He's all about himself. He wants the money for himself. No way would he ever take a pay cut to bring in better players. He's just selfish. You can all say
you're that good. You can be, right?
It has nothing. I mean, I don't think he's that good. His first playoff game, he was absolutely atrocious. I probably could have done a better job. Anybody on this podcast probably could have done a better job. What has he done? He's won you an MVP. Has he brought you any championships to Baltimore? No. I mean, how many years?
He's had a winning season every year.
He did? He didn't play the last 6 weeks of this season. He didn't play like the last 6 weeks of last season. What do you mean he's got winning seasons?
Yeah, and we had the best record in the NFL last year when he went out.
Did you finish with the best record?
No, because Tyler Huntley isn't good unless he's in the Pro Bowl skills competition, I guess.
So what was wrong with him last year? He had a little ankle injury, right?
Yeah, had a high ankle sprain or whatever.
High ankle sprain. Did we just see somebody win a Super Bowl with one of those?
Yeah, off some perks.
Plays the same position. High ankle sprain, same injury. Didn't miss a week.
I think Lamar is more severe, though.
I don't know. It sounds to me like we make a lot of excuses for him. All right, let's talk Damar Hamlin's jacket. Controversial or what?
Somebody said it was a Kanye West jacket.
Yeah, he designed it.
Okay.
I thought it was made by the same designer who makes that shit for Travis Scott, that idiot.
No. It was designed by Kanye West. Tyler, did that jacket offend you?
I mean, not really.
I mean, why do we have a SpongeBob looking Jesus? This guy, if it was him, he just got another chance at life. Why are we mocking Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a mockery.
What is it?
It's art. That's what art is.
It's art.
Art is weird. Art is weird. I took art class for 3 years.
I understand
art is
art
weird.
And the way artists, it's different than I understand. Something different than I would draw. But you know what? On that stage, that situation, I don't think you go changing that up. You think that was an appropriate jacket? Why didn't you just put a buffalo jacket on? What is it with this guy?
Yeah.
Why do we always have to make a statement? Why do we always have to be different? Can't we just be appreciative for the shit that we have? Why did he have to go out there and do that? He knew it would stir up controversy.
No, I don't think he did.
We don't even know if this is the real guy to begin with, and now he's got to go out and start some more bullshit.
Yeah. And I mean, social media, there's a lot of people pissed off saying that, he was basically brought back to life. And now, like what Bill said, like he's mocking God, even though he just survived this cardiac arrest. I've seen about a ton of people.
See, the thing about Damar Hamlin, though, is if you go on his Instagram account, he's a big follower of God. I don't think he was trying to mock Jesus. I think it was just a form of it was a piece of art that he wanted to wear. I mean, it had a quote from the Hebrews on it. It did have any satanic symbolism on it at all? Any of that?
What about what Adrian Peterson said about it?
Oh yeah, that guy that likes to beat his kids, right? I mean, come on. Can you really say that he's talking about how he's making fun of God? I mean, dude, you beat your kids. That's what you're known for, basically.
All right. So if it had nothing wrong with it, why did Damar Hamlin come out with an apology?
Because he was under fire for it. Unfortunately, you got to fold in that situation. You can't just. When you got that many people coming after you, especially nowadays, you can't just stick by it. Unfortunately.
Does anybody want to buy one of those jackets? You can get them on eBay for $6,500.
Yeah, I found one for $250.
Shit.
It says the jacket's going for $6,500. It's the jacket that's called Eternal. And it's a paper doll figure being crucified.
Yeah, so it's not even Jesus.
Well, it was a Christ-like figure, right? Didn't he have wasn't he nailed to a cross?
Yeah.
And thorns around his head?
I don't know about the thorns.
I think the front.
Let me look it up.
I think
picture of it.
the picture on the front of the jacket had that same face with thorns on its head.
Let me look at the jacket real quick.
You don't need to look it up.
Yeah.
I just told you.
I think
I'm
it did.
looking it up. Oh yeah, it does.
This is the Bearded Beast show. The Bearded Beast don't lie, bro. I just told you what's on it. Adrian Peterson says it is disrespectful. And Damar Hamlin said, after talking with my parents, I understand how my coat could have offended some people. But it was never my intentions to hurt or disrespect anyone.
Yeah, see?
I think that's a fair enough apology, I guess.
If you feel you didn't do anything wrong, do you need to apologize?
In today's society, yeah, unfortunately.
If you're a public figure, I guess maybe. It all depends on who you are. I guess that speaks to his character a little bit. Maybe he genuinely was sorry.
What's interesting to me is as soon as this guy was good, everybody turned around and started hating on him now. Saying he's a clone, now he's wearing this jacket, saying he's a dirty player.
Well, hold on a second, because I think he has a lot to do with this, right? If you're not a clone, then come out and show yourself. Why are you wrapped up like a fucking Eskimo in a booth where nobody can talk to you? Why are you being escorted out of a locker room by security where nobody can talk to you or see your face? Why are you posting pictures on Instagram where you can't see your face next to this big mural of yourself? He's making it seem just as suspicious as everything else. He's not innocent in this thing.
Not really.
What do you mean, not really? He hasn't come out and said anything, or even he talked to Michael Strahan. That guy asked him one question, scared the fuck out of him.
Would you want to answer that question?
Yeah, because I think the doctors would have told me.
Would you want to be crowded? Would you want to be crowded by press and media the 3 days after you just came out of cardiac arrest?
Hey, let me tell you something. If you don't want to be crowded by press and media, then don't be a celebrity.
Ooh,
he didn't choose to become a celebrity just because he
wanted to be a professional sports player. That comes with the job. That comes with the millions and millions and millions of dollars that you're making. That comes with the signing the autograph for the fans who are paying your paycheck.
Okay, but there's a line of respect. This guy just had cardiac arrest. There's no reason to crowd him. I mean, that's probably why.
Who was crowding him? He was in an interview with Michael Strahan. The two of them were sitting in a room by themselves.
That's probably why they escorted him out. Everybody wanted to crowd him. Damar Hamlin. It was. That's exactly how it would go.
I've never been to a professional football game. Greg has been, but Greg is like 85,000 people standing right next to the locker room.
I'm not saying that.
No, because you walk down like through when you go through the corner of the field, it's like a tunnel. Now, there are people that, like if you're VIP, you can be on the inside of that tunnel, but there's like going to the movie theater, you know how they got a barrier?
Right.
There's a barrier, and there's not that many. There might be a couple hundred down the line that they got to walk by, if that. But like that might be before the game. After the game, I don't know because I've never been down there, but I don't think that there's people down there. I think it's just like maybe staff and personnel.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the media would have crowded him.
They want to talk to him. This is an amazing story.
He's not in the condition to be talked to, though. He's not.
He can't
talk. He almost has to. Yeah, he has to do these interviews and stuff because, I mean, I don't know about any of you guys, but I didn't know who this kid was until the cardiac arrest. I'll be honest.
I didn't either.
I've never even heard his name before until this happened.
Okay, so Greg, imagine you go into cardiac arrest, you wake up a celebrity, and everybody wants to hear your story. How are you going to react to that? It's going to be very overwhelming. You are now the most known character. Now Damar Hamlin is one of the most known characters now in the NFL. They're right next to Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He collapsed on the field overnight. So not only is he coming out of cardiac arrest, so he's obviously not that good to begin with. Now he's one of the most popular people in the NFL overnight.
Let me tell you something. That's what those guys dream of. They want to be the most popular person. Yes, they do.
Not all of them.
Do we really believe he wasn't told by his doctors what happened to him?
Yeah, they probably did, but maybe he doesn't want to talk about it. It could be he got PTSD from it. And he is obligated to not have to talk about his personal health.
When you're asked a question like that, though, right? Like, what did the doctor say to you? Like, what happened to you? I'm sorry, he had no answer.
He doesn't need to have one, though.
Because there was no
doctor. That's his personal health. That's his personal health. He does not need to answer to Michael Strahan what happened to him. He doesn't.
If you're going to go on an interview, I think you need to answer the questions that you're being asked, right?
Not always. He still has his own privacy, right?
Then don't go on the interview.
Don't ask stupid questions.
I think that was a question that a lot of people would like to know.
But again, they don't need to know. It's his privacy.
I mean, this is a 24-year-old elite athlete. No history of a heart condition, nothing. We've been watching football for how many years, watching brutal hits, and something to me just didn't add up. And now he can't even answer the question about what his doctors told him happened to him.
Yeah. And then
he didn't need to.
You didn't hear a lot about it, but didn't somebody say that, I want to say it was Pfizer, but that might not be right. And they were trying to relate it to the COVID shot that he got, talking about his blood like coagulating, and that could have something to do with the hit, and that's why it happened. Something was said about that, and then it died. You didn't hear anything else about it.
Well, I think Tyler mentioned this, right? The possible vaccine causing cardiac issues, and the NFL making these players get vaccinated. Tyler, didn't you bring that up?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier.
I don't know, maybe.
I think somebody just died recently from cardiac arrest on a soccer field.
I've heard of that happening a lot.
Yeah, he was like 25.
See, that's the thing, though, is, it would have been like, oh, my God, Damar Hamlin died on the field. There's over 20 deaths a year in high school football from playing football, like dying on the field.
But you never really hear about them.
Yeah, of course not, because it's high school. But it does happen. People don't realize that. It does happen. People do die on the football field, especially at lower levels. And the hits, you get hit harder in the lower levels than you do in the higher levels, honestly.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate here. The NFL is a business. We know that, right? Large business for the United States government, income, money. Damar Hamlin goes into cardiac arrest, A, because of the hit that he took, or B, we believe it's possibly from the COVID vaccine.
It's A.
You don't believe that the NFL would work with the United States government to try to cover that, if it was anything related to the vaccine, that they would cover that up immediately?
Well, yeah, of course they would, but I saw a doctor explain what happened to his heart when he got hit. There's this certain stage of adrenaline or something along those lines when something's running through your body and it kind of boosts your heart. You were very vulnerable during that time. So when he took that hit right to his chest, right to where his heart was, that's what caused him to collapse, because it made his his heart. I forget the name of it, but it made like his heart beat irregularly, and that's why he collapsed. It definitely is not because of the COVID vaccine.
But can you imagine the uproar if he would have said in that interview when Strahan asked him what happened, if he said, well, the doctors concluded that it was because of my COVID vaccine? Can you imagine what would have happened if that's what he said?
Bro. I can only imagine what would have happened.
So was he told not to answer the question?
No, because the question wouldn't have been asked in the first place.
Strahan could have just put it in there himself.
Nah, I think the NFL would have told Strahan what questions he could ask, what he couldn't, if they were going to do that.
All right, but we're all big football fans here, right? We've been watching football for how many years?
Like,
As long as
9.
Yeah, as long as I can remember.
What are the chances with the years and years and years of football that we've all been watching? That's never happened. Nobody's ever been hit at that perfect moment like he was.
Just unlucky.
Yeah, what's the coincidence that happens? Because they said for your heart to be, I forget there's a term or whatever they call it, for your heart to be in that rhythm at that exact second that he took the hit and for the jolt, it was like a 1 in how many billions of a chance?
Doesn't it happen in baseball a lot, though? That's what I heard.
Yeah, I heard it happens in baseball a lot, too.
But they're not really taking any impact.
The ball hits them.
The ball hits them?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't watch baseball, but, I mean, I've seen, like, clips and plays where, they'll hit the ball and the pitcher moves in the wrong direction and it's, you got like a line drive to the head. And yeah, they go down pretty hard, but he gets back up.
Yeah, your dome's pretty hard, though. Your cranium's pretty hard.
Yeah, your head is very hard.
I don't know, man. I think I'd rather take one to the body than take one to my face.
Oh, yeah. I'd probably take
the sternum, though?
Take one.
The sternum's not that thick. I mean, it's thick, but it's not like, I don't know.
Well, the skull is one of the hardest bones in the body.
Yeah.
The rib cage is very easy to break. I mean, if you watch any form of combat sports, you know that.
But think about the amount of hits there's been over this time period in football. This has happened once.
Right.
And we're saying it happens in baseball. They don't get hit by anything. If you're in the batter's box and you get hit by the ball, you're not getting hit in the heart.
Yeah, but it's still just like an unlucky thing. I mean, it's not like saying it can't happen. It did happen, though. It's just unfortunate.
Well, we were told it happened.
Okay, then what points to it not happening?
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
Donnie T says it didn't happen.
Yeah, well,
I agree.
Donnie T in the.
I think I agree with Donnie T. My conclusion is that's Damar Hamlin, and the story we were told never happened. Ty, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I think it definitely did happen because you can't really fake that.
You can't fake. You can't fake what?
Can't fake cardiac arrest.
How many broken ribs did he have?
I don't know. It was the way he got up.
Guys, let me tell you something, down. Okay? I trained to be an EMT paramedic for a while on an ambulance corps. When you perform CPR, you're breaking several ribs. And they take a while to heal. The amount of time that they performed CPR on Damar Hamlin was over 9 minutes. If you do not have oxygen to your brain within 4 minutes, I don't know if you're ever neurologically recovering. This was 9 minutes of continuous CPR. Several broken ribs would have happened. This guy was out of the hospital in a week. He was moving around. He was jumping up and down in a goddamn booth. Bro, I'm telling you all right now, that doesn't happen with broken ribs.
Yeah.
I think they put him on oxygen when he was on the ground. I think that's the only way. Why? I think that's the only reason why he wasn't brain dead.
Yeah, because he was on oxygen, and they said that they put a breathing tube down his throat. They did that in the ambulance on the way to the hospital.
That was
actually, I think they did the breathing tube before they put him in the ambulance. I think
9 minutes.
Still pretty crazy. He was moving so well after CPR like that. What was it, like a week later?
He was out of the hospital in a week.
Yeah. And then
you can get out of the hospital in a week.
Yeah, but cardiac arrest, though, I mean, I don't know if they let you out in a week.
Mm.
more or less a public game with how many thousands of people.
They had to have told him that he shouldn't be there, you know? I mean, medically, they have to tell him something like that.
Yeah.
So do you think that it just wasn't him for the first week or two?
Possible. I mean, it could have just been a face. Well, a face you can't see. Same build.
Possibly. I don't know.
But I guess that's not as bad as him actually just being straight up dead.
So there's a possibility that it wasn't him for the first couple of weeks, but it's him now. Missing tattoos.
See, the thing about
can't answer questions about his health condition.
Tattoos.
He's got a tattoo that appeared overnight.
Sit down with his family and talk about it.
You can tell that was fresh.
Yeah, the hand tat.
Yeah, you can tell he got that. If you look at it, you can tell the difference between an old tattoo and a fresh tattoo. It must have been no. Me?
Yeah.
I put a piece of gum in my mouth.
I don't know. Should he have even, with what he's gone through, should you even, medically, I don't know. Should he have even got that tattoo?
No.
I don't even know what the tattoo is.
No.
Because it raises your heart.
And and I don't know anything. So I mean, dude, I got a bunch of tattoos, but not on my hands. Like, Andy, that'd be pretty, assertive, right? A hand tat?
It's pretty painful. Yeah, they're probably my worst so far.
Just doesn't seem like, I don't know, the best idea in his current health. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, your heart rate would rise. You know, your adrenaline would be going. It doesn't matter how many tattoos you got. Every time you get one, your adrenaline starts pumping. So,
all right. So
I mean, that can't be good. That just stopped.
They say he had lung damage also, and he needs to still be on oxygen. So where was his oxygen tank on the football field?
I never heard that.
Andy, you got your laptop?
I do not.
All right. So I think we know everybody's opinion on it anyway, right? I think it's not him. You guys think it's him. Greg, you think it's him?
I don't know. I'm kind of torn.
Ty, you think it's him?
Yeah.
Andy, you think it's him?
Yeah, I guess until I see something to disprove it.
Tyler, you think it's him?
Yeah, I think it's him.
All right. I guess I'm on the island all by myself.
Well, if you're Buffalo, you definitely can't cut him, right? How would that look?
No.
You can't fire him.
Well, he's not bad. He's not bad, actually. He's not bad. He's just not well known. I looked up his stats. He had 92 tackles this year. I mean, a sack and a half, a forced fumble, and 3 tackles for loss. It's not like this guy was bad. I mean, 92 tackles for a backup safety that's pretty good.
Yeah, because he went in when their what's his name got hurt.
Hyde?
Yeah, when Hyde went out with that season-ending injury. That's how this kid got on there.
Yeah, so he's not bad. He's not a bad player. He just wasn't – he's not, great, obviously. but he just wasn't a well-known player.
Yeah. So totally off subject from Hamlin, but I just thought about it when you guys were talking about Lamar and the high ankle sprain. Have you guys seen where Mahomes is under investigation for them juicing him up at halftime?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, but I read that was false.
That's false?
Yeah,
That's
I
false.
heard that
The
was a rumor
NFL's
as
not.
well.
They're not investigating that at all.
Okay. I seen that from a couple different people, and
Yeah, they were probably
I don't know.
destroyed Eagles fans who are still trying to come up with excuses for losing.
I mean, you can juice up. You just can't use the performance-enhancing drug.
I mean,
okay.
I know an Eagle. Greg, you got to see this pic. You coming to see us on Monday?
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Here we go.
I was with an Eagle fan today that showed me a picture of a penalty that should have been called in the Super Bowl. Have you ever seen a NFL referee that looked like he was like 8'7"?
No.
Well, you're gonna on Monday.
I'm gonna delete that motherfucker. It's
I mean,
gonna be gone.
this was a penalty that should have been called in the Super Bowl. Wait till you see this penalty. It's vicious.
And
Dude,
did
that
you see the
referee should have
penalty?
been playing on the field.
Jesus.
Did you see the NFL release a new camera angle, and that clearly was a penalty and a hold on Juju Smith-Schuster?
Yeah, it was brutal. I told you that though. As soon as it happened, watch the beginning of the play.
Well, Bradbury,
that's what happens.
Bradbury said he did tug the jersey.
I know a few other people on this podcast right now that told me that wasn't a penalty.
It shouldn't be called.
No, I think it's
Yeah.
There's 2 minutes left in the game. It's the Super Bowl. Let them play.
Yeah, that's the thing.
All right, so we're gonna say that from here on out, if there's only 2 minutes left in the football game, you can commit whatever penalties you want. We won't throw any flags and let whoever wins. Is that what we're saying?
Man, that flag was soft.
Yeah, that's a soft flag. He didn't take it down to the ground.
Is it a penalty?
He didn't wrap him. He didn't wrap him up. He didn't turn him around.
All
he
right.
didn't pull him backwards. I don't even think the pass was catchable.
That's the thing. It wasn't a game-altering play where Juju would catch that. He was not catching that.
But that was my next question. Mahomes did throw the ball there. If he doesn't throw it in that direction, do they not call the penalty?
No, they don't.
It was an uncatchable ball to begin with.
I agree. You know, I'm agree.
A penalty's a penalty, though, right? We're gonna determine at what time in the game we can call them.
I mean, that's fair.
So who's to say that, we've talked about the NFL being scripted. Who's to say that it was decided a long time ago that Chiefs were winning the Super Bowl?
Who's to say that it wasn't determined a long time ago that Damar Hamlin would go down with a fake cardiac arrest on the field?
I mean, it created a chain of events because the Damar Hamlin injury, we basically gave the Chiefs the number 1 seed. They did not earn it the last couple of weeks. We gave it
the Ravens got screwed over.
Yeah, but thankfully all this happened because the Super Bowl would have sucked if it was the Bengals versus the Eagles.
Bengals would have
crushed them.
No,
yeah,
that would have.
Bengals probably would have won.
Eagles would have blown them out.
No.
So, man, if you go back to that game, if we beat Buffalo that night, which the way we were playing we would have, the Chiefs would have lost the game. We would have been the number 1 seed. If Buffalo would have beat us, Buffalo would have been the number 1 seed. That would have changed the whole outcome of the playoffs, of the who played who.
So what you're telling me is, sorry, Andy, I'm kind of going to take a little crap on the Eagles here. The Bengals almost beat the Rams last year in the Super Bowl, who had an absolute super team. They had Matthew Stafford in his best year ever, Cooper Kupp, who is had one of the best wide receiver years of all time, and a stacked defense of Bobby Wagner, Jalen Ramsey, and Aaron Donald. They almost beat them. And if Joe Burrow saw Jamar Chase on the right side of the field, wide open, 60 yards down the field, they would have won that game. I think
Ramsey fell down.
Yeah, Ramsey fell down. If Burrow looked to his right, the Bengals win the Super Bowl.
He didn't have time. He got hit.
And I don't think that Eagles team, at least offensively, is as good. A.J. Brown is an elite wide receiver, of course. but he's no last year Cooper Kupp. Last year Cooper Kupp was played out of his mind. Like, he played absurd. And they shut him down for the most part, I'm pretty sure.
My opinion, this Eagles team was better than the Rams team of last year. That Super Bowl sucked last year.
But where?
That Super Bowl was boring.
In what aspect are the Rams better than the Eagles?
I think the Eagles have a much better offense and they have a better defense.
But how can you say that? Okay, so in what aspect do they have a better offense?
The quarterback's better.
Is he? Now, maybe, because Stafford fell off. Jalen Hurts had a good year, but A.J. Brown, sorry, Andy, but A.J. Brown does not compare to last year Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, but he could do a lot more things that Stafford couldn't do. I mean, he was boring enough in Detroit.
Well, he's had a good quarterback his whole career.
What happened to the Rams this year?
He just had a bad team. They were filled with injuries.
Yeah, they had a ton of injuries. Von Miller went out.
Von Miller, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp.
I'm thankful for Patrick Mahomes because you know why? And I'm sorry, Greg, but we would have to watch the boring-ass Bengals go to the Super Bowl for like the next 5 years if it wasn't for Kansas City. That team is boring. They're not even fun. Their uniforms aren't even good to look at. They're boring.
Yes, they are. The white uniforms are the best uniforms in the entire league.
They make me want to vomit.
Black. You're just a hater.
I'm not a hater. They're just boring. Nobody wants to tune on to the Super Bowl and see the Rams versus the Bengals, or do they want to see the Eagles versus the Bengals? I mean,
I don't know how you say that, though. The Bengals are one of the most fun teams to watch.
How many Cincinnati fans have you ever met in your life? I've lived 50 years and I met 2 of them.
I've met.
I mean, come on. I mean, they're just not out there. I never even ran into another Eagles fan. I think I know 2 of them, too.
Well, the Bengals have been kind of bad. Sorry, Greg.
A long time.
Yeah, they've been bad for as long as I can remember. The Bengals are at the bottom of the AFC East.
They're just not exciting teams to watch play. I mean, the Eagles are a little bit more exciting with Jalen Hurts because he can run.
Yeah, but that's because he can run. I mean, Burrow's got a better arm. Burrow he has great throw on the run.
You all know my opinion on Joe Burrow. I never liked him as soon as he came into the league. I didn't like him in college. I don't like his cockiness. He's arrogant.
Oh, God. Joe Burrow's got Tom Brady accuracy, though, on the ball.
So
I don't think so.
Neither
does Woody. Did you hear him laughing at you?
But Joe Burrow has the numbers.
Yeah.
You guys love to fall back on these numbers and stats and all this stuff like that. Like that makes a huge difference.
Stats.
Okay, then Tom Brady isn't the GOAT,
Bro,
right?
Drew Brees had amazing stats too, but he wasn't going to win you a Super Bowl.
He did.
Yeah, after they eventually had to give him one before he retired. I mean, come on. That's like Peyton Manning too, right?
He had amazing. 2011.
Bro, Peyton Manning had amazing stats too, but he wasn't going to win you a Super Bowl. Look what happened to him when he faced a real defense. That was an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment. Because
that Broncos defense is bad.
The 3 of us watched somebody talking about these quarterbacks, right? And the difference between a quarterback during the regular season and a postseason quarterback. There's only a few of them that are winners.
Okay, how about Tom Brady? Let's bring up Tom Brady since he's so good. Hold on. Let's bring him up.
Winner.
Because his first 2 Super Bowls, he played horribly. He got carried by his defense.
Winner.
Everybody just wants to say he won 7 Super Bowls. Did he, though? Did he?
Mahomes.
Tell me a great performance.
Winner.
Give me a good performance, Tom Brady, a memorable performance Tom Brady had in the Super Bowl.
I'll go back to the one he played against the Falcons when he was down majorly at halftime and he came back to win the football game.
So out of 7 Super Bowls, he has 1 memorable performance. Is that what you're telling me?
You asked for one, I gave you one.
But is he really that good if he only has 1?
The best.
I don't think anybody that can say Tom Brady is not the best quarterback ever in the NFL. I don't think you can debate anybody against Brady.
It's hard because I look at his win percentage when he doesn't have a top 10 defense and it's under 500. He is a under 500 quarterback when he does not have a top 10 defense on his side.
I wonder what
is he really that good?
I wonder what other people's percentages would be when they don't have a top 10 defense.
I can tell you that Mr. Patrick Mahomes is over 500 because that what year was it when they beat the 49ers? That defense is atrocious. They had one of the worst defenses in the league. I think they were like bottom 25. Like they were a bad defense.
He's a winner.
Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls. Yeah, because he's always had a good team around.
You can't deny winning. He's a winner.
But you just said that you can't deny the stats either.
He has them. And wins.
Okay, yeah, he has them.
And he has championships.
Okay, but when you gave Peyton Manning one of the
Has Peyton Manning been to 10 Super Bowls?
No, he hasn't.
Has any other quarterback in the history of the NFL been to 10 Super Bowls?
But why has Tom Brady been to 10?
Because he's a winner. He wins.
No, but he's not that good. If you break it down, Tom Brady truly is not that talented of a quarterback. He is just like a Peyton Manning. He has a great vision of the field. Paired with good check down accuracy. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
100%.
Tell me how.
Tom Brady's the best to ever play the game.
You still haven't told me how.
He wins championships. He wins football games. His win-loss record. His ability to go from one team to another and still win a championship. His ability to go from one team to another and still make them a playoff contender, still make them a Super Bowl contender.
All right, so he went from the Patriots to the Bucks, who had a stacked team.
It's almost unheard of, though, of the quarterback moving from one team to another and winning a championship.
Yeah, and if the Bucks were so stacked, Winston didn't take them to the Super Bowl the prior year.
Well, Winston's kind of a bust. He's not that good of a player. So he takes them to the Super Bowl, he wins, beats Patrick Mahomes. What happened this year? What happened?
Well, I think Tom Brady had a lot of off-the-field distractions going on.
He also didn't have a good team.
He's older.
That Bucks defense is hurt.
The guy's, 44, 45?
But I'm just saying, when he doesn't have a good team,
you can't expect him to carry a
good.
team now.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, what's the average age of a quarterback, do you think?
Probably
25, 26.
Yeah, they're not playing until like 44, right? 45?
No, that's unheard, especially besides him and Aaron Rodgers. Who else has played to that level?
No one. Now, I think Mahomes has the...
impossible. I just think it's impossible to deny him when you win that many Super Bowls.
Yeah, you can't.
You can say about the top 10 defenses, but without Brady, with someone else at quarterback, I don't think they win any of those Super. They probably don't even get there.
I agree. We saw what happened to New England after he left, right? They're nobody.
Yeah, they haven't been anybody.
They were the team that nobody ever wanted to play. Now, nobody cares if they're playing New England. It's not a big deal. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, you look how many years the road to the Super Bowl went through Foxborough. It went to what, 10?
Probably.
He's been to 10, so it was at least 9 with 9. New England, right?
9 for New England.
Yeah, you can't.
And out of 9, they won 6.
You can't deny that. He leads the league in almost every stat. I mean, what more do you want from the guy? He kisses his kids. He does all that shit. What more you want from him? Andy, you like that, right?
Huh? What was that?
He's coming to your house tonight. Give you a big kiss right on the lips.
You better fucking not. These will be the last male lips he touches.
I don't know how you can deny him. He's got all the stats. He's got, I don't know, how many records does he have? He's done. What more do you want the guy to do? Tell me what he could have done better. Tell me, Ty, tell me what he could have done better that would have made him the best.
Not get carried.
I don't know. I'd say the opposite.
I showed you the statistic. When he doesn't have a good defense, he's not good.
Brady is the offense, though. Brady carries the offense. The defense, that can be said for any team. You have to have a defense to win games. I don't care how many points you put on the board. You got to stop the other side.
Yeah, but Mahomes kind of did prove that wrong, right?
How? He didn't go to the Super Bowl last year.
He beat the Niners. He beat the Niners. And that Chiefs defense was not good.
He didn't go to the Super Bowl last year. What happened?
He lost to the Bengals in the AFC Conference Championship.
He's actually lost to the Bengals. How many times, Greg? Last 4?
3 times this year. Well, last year now, if you count it. Last year, he's lost 3 times.
Well,
is that because is that the fault of the defense?
Well, we'd have to look at the statistics and the stats. We have to look at the stats.
We can't break it down per game and say, okay, the defense didn't play good in this one, they didn't play good in that one. Brady's the best ever to play the game. That's undeniable. Maybe at some point Mahomes has the ability to break some of Brady's records, maybe get more. So if Mahomes gets more championships but has a 12th ranked defense or a 7th ranked defense, is he better?
If Mahomes has a top 10 defense, he's the most unstoppable quarterback in the world.
He'll never have the longevity, though, of Tom Brady.
Wow.
Yeah, I doubt Mahomes is going to be playing when he's in his 40s.
Maybe not in his 40s, but he can easily play into his mid to late 30s. And at this rate, he's going to have Tom Brady by the time he's like 35. Maybe even younger than that. He's got 2 Super Bowls. He's started 5 years. And the 5 AFC Conference championships. Every year he has started, he has gotten to the final game to almost get to the Super Bowl.
I don't know. My opinion is Tom Brady's the GOAT, and you just can't. There's not much of an argument with it.
Yeah, so we'll back it up. Go back a couple years. So Brady, let's say Brady went to the Ravens instead of the Bucks. Would the Ravens have won the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Fuck yeah, we would have.
See, that's debatable because of how the Ravens' offense is run.
But they would have built a new offense around Brady.
You're acting like there's not every single team in the NFL that would have taken Tom Brady if he was offered to him.
I wouldn't take him.
You would take
Personally, I wouldn't. Huntley over Brady? What, this year?
Let's take Tom Brady 5 years ago. You taking Lamar over Brady?
What team?
It doesn't matter. You shouldn't even question it, right? Because you say he's not the best.
No, I definitely should question it.
Baltimore, I said you taking Lamar over Brady?
Playmaking ability.
Brady doesn't have to use his legs.
Yeah,
a normal quarterback shouldn't have to use his legs. To me, those are the most successful guys, not these guys who scramble around. They're not. That's short-lived in the NFL.
Why? Yeah, but that's a stereotype.
It's facts.
I mean, look at Michael Vick.
Short-lived.
Only because he got in trouble.
Yeah, Vic killed his own career.
And then guess what happened when he came back? He dominated with the Eagles.
Tyler.
Coming out of prison.
I don't know. There's not a person here right now. I can tell you right now that no matter what team you like, whoever's on this podcast, if you were offered the Tom Brady of 5 years ago, there's no way you're saying no.
I wouldn't be a Philly fan anymore, I'll tell you that.
If he gave you an opportunity to win multiple Super Bowls, Andy, I think you'd root for him.
I don't think so.
Bro, if Jalen Hurts started kissing his kids on the mouth like today, Andy would just turn that shit around.
Yep.
Andy
Andy be telling his wife, "Hey, we need to get some kids."
Yeah, you know what? Maybe him kissing the kids on the mouth isn't such a bad thing.
Nope, I would not like him either, bro. That's weird.
Yeah, no, that is some weird stuff.
He'd be the first one running in. Hey guys, check out this video. All right, I guess it's time we wrap this thing up. We've been an hour and a half. So, anybody got anything final to say?
Let
me leave.
Tom Brady sucks.
We're gonna leave the podcast with one question. Did we land on the moon?
Yeah, we did.
No.
Yeah.
There's like a billion ways to debunk that we didn't.
Andy?
Yeah, I don't know. That
Right. I still haven't heard a reason how we haven't landed on the moon.
Well, let me give you one really quick. And Andy, you can make
right.
your decision after I give you a little bit of an example of what Mr. Buzz Aldrin had to say on his deathbed. Everybody knows who Buzz Aldrin is, right?
Yes.
Yep.
He said, "I have lived this life for nearly 46 years, and I have nothing to lose by telling everyone the truth now. I have been sworn to secrecy by the U.S. government, but I'm going to tell you now. The moon landing was not real. We never went there. It was all staged with a backdrop. We cannot go to the moon because it is occupied by alien beings on the dark side. We have seen them." He says, "We have seen them. We have talked to them, and we have sent messages to them, and they have threatened us. It's all been a huge lie, all of it. Everything you see is faked and photoshopped. I never stepped on the moon."
Would explain why we never went back.
Because we can't go.
Yeah, we were never there to begin with.
I agree. My opinion is we never went.
So, where in the hell did you get that quote? Please tell me your source.
Buzz Aldrin said it.
When?
What do you mean when?
When did Buzz Aldrin said that?
Right before he died.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, were you? Because he's still alive.
Buzz Aldrin?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Anybody
Press the
believe
fake news button. Press the fake news button.
Buzz Aldrin is still alive? Does anybody believe that?
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
I don't know, man. I feel like we went.
Yeah.
You think we
there's
went?
No.
Yeah.
There's no evidence that we didn't.
What
But
evidence?
what evidence do you have that we did?
The filming of us flying our rocket ship into outer space.
All right, so I have a
and
really
walking on the moon.
I got a really interesting question. If you think that's the case, who was the first person to step on the moon?
I'm pretty sure it was it Neil Armstrong?
Yeah, it was Armstrong was out first.
Okay,
Yeah,
Greg,
he was out first. Yeah.
Greg, if it was Neil Armstrong who was out first, who recorded him stepping down the ladder?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Who filmed him coming down the ladder?
If you read their notes, it tells you that Armstrong got out of the capsule first, and he walked around for it says like a few minutes. It doesn't give you an exact time frame, but it said he walked around a few minutes before being joined by Buzz Aldrin.
Maybe it was probably like an exterior camera, I'm guessing.
Exterior camera.
So now we had all that technology?
We didn't have
Yeah.
that 69.
Buzz Aldrin also said that the thing that night, I guess like 550 million people watched this on television. He said they didn't have the technology to broadcast that back and forth that far. That most of what everybody saw was an animation. They could send the audio, but they couldn't send video. So who believes we were there? I say no. This is the last question of the night. Andy, what do you got?
We were there.
Still hard to say. I'm going to say until there's more proof against it. Yeah, I think we did go.
Tyler?
I'm going to say yeah.
Greg?
I'm going to say no.
Ty?
Yeah, we went for sure.
All right. Thanks.
Bill.
Yeah.
I do have, before we close, I do have like one word to kind of sign everybody off. Because you asked if anybody had anything else to say, any comments. I will leave us with the Bengals are winning the Super Bowl 2023. This is our year.
Well, they already didn't make it 2023.
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah, it would be 2024 technically.
2023 Super Bowl already happened. You're right. I mean,
you know,
2024.
You're for sure wrong about that.
It's going to be our year.
We can 100% say you're wrong about that, Greg.
You know what we can say that it's 100% right? The Steelers will not make the Super Bowl in the next 5 years.
Damn.
I don't think there'll be a franchise in the next 5 years.
They're going to bring in a new team.
And what am I doing here?
They might have a train derail right at the stadium.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, or maybe, hey, Andy, you might get lucky enough for them to combine teams again.
Yeah. We don't want that.
That's all Andy could wish for. Thank God for Pittsburgh keeping the fans of Pennsylvania alive.
Keeping Jalen Hurts all hydrated and everything.
Good thing the Pennsylvanians weren't waiting for those Eagles Super Bowl trophies. Do you know what I hear when I listen to you guys? Any clue? I hear this.
Nope. True international effort to pressure.
Anybody know what the fuck he just said?
Nope.
True international effort to pressure.
True and international to pressure.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming on. We got to wrap this thing up. It's been almost an hour. It's been almost an hour and 40 minutes. Anybody got to sign off? Greg's got one. He's going to win. Bengals are winning the Super Bowl in 2023. He's already lost that one. Anybody else?
24.
Twitch.tv/same strain.
Ooh, same strain. Yep. We got it. Andy?
Nothing here.
Ty?
No, I ain't got anything.
All right, guys, be ready. Next week, next Friday, we're talking basketball.
Oh, gosh.
We all know who I think the GOAT is, so this is going to be a good one. All right. We'll see you. We'll talk to you next Friday.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Sounds good.
Talk to you later.
Later.
I'll be remembered, but will you? From McDonald's, the baddest that I would turn to. CEO with the shit that's a dope motherfucker. He'll always win, there's no going under. The top of the crown, resting on his head. The beast is alive, he'll never be dead. If he dreamt before, bring it back to life. Push harder for it, let us survive. Show courage and strength, it's okay to be scared, but don't let it stop you, always stay prepared. Build someone's school, they're just not beginning. Winners fucking win, losers talk about winning.